Hey friends, it's Meridy here again. Welcome back. Today I am here with the Not Just for Boys Summer Pastime Kit and Essentials Kit, and I am working on what is our 6th layout with this kit. And you can find all the other layouts in my unboxing video and whatnot in the link for the playlist in the description of this video, as well as all the products that I use and the kits and everything. Everything will be linked in the description of this video. So I am going to start, and let me show you what I want to work with today. So today I have a picture of my daughter's Dutch Bros drink, and they wrote a little note on it for her. It says, "Speak now, slay," because the girl working the window saw that she had friendship bracelets on in the car and asked if she was a Swiftie. And the very next day, Taylor's version of Speak Now, the Speak Now album, was coming out the very next day. I had to ask my daughter to write a note so I could remember exactly what was happening. So Speak Now, Taylor's version, was coming out the next day. So the girl at Starbucks was all excited, as was my Swiftie daughter. So this was from last summer of 2023. So those are my little notes, and I've just got this one 3x4 picture, and I pulled a bunch of stuff to work with. I pulled some frames and tags, my happy place, a couple guitars, because of course it's Taylor Swift, Every Day's an Adventure, this one, and of course a little radio. Even though they don't listen to the radio, they listen to Spotify now or Apple Music, but whatever. I liked the little vintage radio, so I want to put that on there. And then if you watched my last video, you may know that someone was asking where I put my journaling on my pages, since I don't take pictures of them with journaling. So I've got this little template that I made that's going to represent where my journaling strips are going to go. So I'll just show you this at the very end where I would put my journaling. So I'll put that off to the side. And then for the papers, I had a scrap of this. This cardstock came from my stash because there is not solid cardstock in our kits, because we all probably have a lot of solid cardstock. So this came from my stash. It's just a scrap that I used for previous layouts this month. This is another scrap of white that came from my stash. I really want to use this guitar paper today because, for obvious reasons, it's a guitar paper and Taylor Swift, and I also like the back. The back is very nice too. So I'll probably use a little bit of the A side, a little bit of the B side. And then I have a lot of other scraps. I probably won't use the beach balls. I might use some of this because it looks very nice with this, especially maybe to map my picture or something, and I just have like this little scrap left. So I'll probably use some of that. This cardstock was from my stash again. And then I've got all these other paper scraps in here. I'm not sure what I will use or not. Maybe I'll pull some of this yellow out to get in there. I think that looks nice. I'll just use this little scrap. Got some journaling blocks here. Probably won't use any of those, and I probably won't use any of the stripes either. And then of course I've just got scraps left over from the other layouts that I've made this month. I've got my stamps. Those are great for making my own little background designs. And then I probably won't use the geotags or those, but I do not need to use the ice cream cone, but that matches very well too. So I'll probably maybe use some of that. And then I've got just a bunch of little scraps here. So I am gonna get all these scraps in here because who knows if I'll use these little baby pieces, but I'll just set them off to the side so they're waiting. And then of course I have my Distress Oxide spray if I want to use some of that for splatters or any mixed media that I want to do. And I still have swatched from my last video some different colors of Distress Oxide ink so I can see what they will look like with the stamps. So I'm going to keep this handy too. So I think, oh, and then over here, of course, I've got twine. I've got the little microphone and headphones because that whole little set came together with the radio. I might not use those. I'm not sure. I just grabbed them out. I grabbed out this because I liked the little cameras and the little yay. Of course, I have my alphabet thickers that I can use on my title. I probably won't use this, but maybe to layer. I don't know. We'll leave that out there. Endless sun, endless fun. That's pretty good for summertime. The camera again. Good times, the arrows, you know, just in case I need, remember, in case I need little bits and pieces to add embellishment wise. And then my coordinating sequence. So I've got all these things. I'm going to move all the embellishments off to the side because I don't need to embellish quite yet. And I'm going to get started with the background of this layout. So let's see. I'm going to trim my picture a little because it's a little crooked on that side. So I need to fix that. And I'm going to go ahead and trim down this guitar paper. And I think I'm going to give it a tear to I'm debating if I would rather have the guitars and the pattern paper be at the bottom with my picture, you know, layered up here with all these papers up here. I think I kind of like that. Or at the top. I think I like it at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and just give this guitar paper a little tear to expose the white core. And I'm just going to tear it quite uneven, just like that. And then I can flip this over and maybe do a little of that stripe sticking out. So I just like it sticking out a little bit at the top. You know, I'm going to cut this part off. So I'm just going to go ahead and trim this. You know, to make this easy, I'm going to trim 7 inches off the bottom. So whatever's left is what's left. So basically, I took a 5-inch piece of this paper. If you measured this hole, it's 5 inches right here. And then I just tore a little bit off. And I'm just going to layer it up right like that at the bottom. Okay, and for my picture, I really like all these colors, and I just really think it will be fun matted in a lot. So I think I'm going to just take this scrap and matte the picture on this light blue cardstock first. That'll give it a nice matte because my picture is very dark, so it really pops there. And the main part of this layout is going to be journaling about my daughter's love of music and concerts, and of course Taylor Swift, but she likes all kinds of music and concerts, so I'm probably going to journal about that on the layout. Now I can kind of cut some of this to use as layers around. I'm just going to start cutting chunks of this paper. So first I'm going to straighten it up by cutting off that, and then I'm going to cut a 5-inch wide piece by 4 inches tall. So this is 5 inches across and 4 inches tall. And I'm just going to use that to somehow layer on here. And then I would like to use some of this yellow. I think I'm just going to cut it about right there, which is 5 inches tall and 4.5 inches wide, because it was already 4.5 inches wide. And I just want these to ever so slightly peek out. And then I think I want some of this pink paper behind there too, because I think it looks nice. And I can always adjust the length, like if I don't like this blue one so long, I can adjust it. But I think what I'm going to do is cut this pink paper right just a little bit longer than all the other layers. So it's 6 inches long. Okay, so I've got a 6 inches by, I'm gonna make it 4.5. I'm gonna cut off these. Do you see how the two sides have teeny tiny bits showing? I'm gonna cut those two little things off. So this is 4.5 by 6 now. And those measurements, you know, I'm just working with scraps. So if you've got different sizes of things left in your kit, it's fine. It doesn't need to be exactly the inches that I have. I'm gonna trim a tiny little bit off the end so it isn't showing like a little tiny hairline of the next. Okay. And I like it like this. Okay, and then I think right now this edge looks very blue. Like I feel like there should be another set of dots right there. So I'm gonna just trim a little bit of that off so it isn't so odd looking to me. I think that looks a lot better. And I'm gonna go ahead and just start adhering these down so they're just one giant piece for me to move. Because I like the way it's layered up. And sometimes I don't want to overthink what I've got going on. I just want to get it, you know, it looks fine and I don't need to mess with it. So I do like it like that. And then I will put this over here. Kind of like that. Great. And then I think I can, I'm not going to adhere anything to the back yet, because I want to dress up the back with some of these stamps. And I really like the little lyric, I mean, they're not lyrics, the little cursive, because it could be considered like lyric, like looking like lyrics or handwritten music, you know, poetry, whatever. So what I think I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to do it fairly subtly. I don't want it to just overtake the whole entire page. But I don't know which color to use. I did ask Maddie what color, because if you know anything about Taylor Swift, you know all her albums have colors that go with them. And of course, the color of this album is purple, which I have nothing here that's purple. So I'm not going by those colors, but maybe I'll go with the saltwater taffy. Maybe I'll do a couple colors, saltwater taffy and scattered straw. I think I'm gonna start doing some white stamping with those two. So this is the scattered straw and this should be saltwater taffy. Okay, I see where I've got stuff. I'm just kind of gonna do it in this area and then a little bit in this area. So it's not like my whole background getting stamped. And it's okay to me if it doesn't stamp exactly perfectly straight, because I do want this to look kind of distressed. I think I can do like second generation. I am gonna grab this because I also don't want all of the stamps to look like they didn't get the ink in the exact right places. Okay, the third set I'm gonna do over here. Just really, okay, so if I've got my picture there, and these down here, I think that's looking pretty good. Yeah, so now I'm gonna come in and do the same with this color. In some of those open areas. Just moving my little stamping mat underneath there. Right there and right there. And I realize this is mostly going to be covered by the paper, but that's okay. So let's see here. Oh yeah, that was literally almost all covered by the paper, that first stamp. Oh, I do need some up here. So we will do one over here. And then one up here. looking good so far. And then I think I want to come in, because it just looks very sparse, so I think I want to come in with my little blending brush and maybe this Tattered Rose, this light color, and just add a little bit to the background so it's not just sparse white. And I could have probably done this first before I stamped, but I didn't know that I was going to want to do this. So let's see how this looks. Just adding like a little color there in the back. And you know, if this isn't dark enough, I can just come in with the saltwater taffy and add a little more. Let's see. Yeah, I can hardly see this Tattered Rose. I think I'm going to use the saltwater taffy and do the same thing. Oh yeah, that gives a little bit of a more color there. So just gonna go around here. And I'm just gonna do this a little, working a circular motion kind of over everywhere that's sticking out. I don't need to do like this spot in the back. I'll just add a little color in there, and I will finish doing this off camera, and I will be back after I get this done to show you how it looks. Okay guys, so this is how it looks. You know, it doesn't need to be done in the middle again because it's going to be completely covered up. And then when I get my paper across the bottom and this paper down here and my picture on it, you can see it's just a little bit of added color. And now I am going to come in with my Distress Oxide Scattered Straw spray that came in the kits, and I'm going to give a couple splatters to this before I get anything down on the page. And I'm just going to do just a few splatters. It's just easier to do it right now before I get all my pictures down. And I do know that I want it in this area because I know where my picture is going. So sometimes I'll do this after I get everything on the layout, and sometimes I'll do it now. But today it seemed pretty easy to add those splatters now. I think I am going to turn this paper up like I did on my layout yesterday. What I did was I used a paintbrush I'm just going to use this packaging as like a little work mat, and I'm going to get a paintbrush and dip it in some water here. And I'll just put it in the water and paint the water on the edge, because this paper from Cartabella is such an amazing paper, and it is so thick, almost like 49 to Market is very thick also. So this paper, to get it to be a little more malleable and curl on the edge to show the back, you'll see what I mean in a second. In order to do that easier, it's easier to just get it a little bit wet, and then you can just curl it really easy with your fingers. Otherwise, you're kind of like fighting it if it's dry. Watch, see how easy this is looking? I'll show you on the other piece before I get it wet how it does not do this so easily. Yeah, because I kind of like that little bit showing. Now, if I try to do it without it wet, it's just like fighting it. It's thick, it's rigid, so it works a lot better if it's a little wet. And by now, the splatters are dry enough that I can go ahead and adhere those papers on the bottom where they go. So just gonna do that. I'll slide this one in there. Okay, and then I've got this teeny tiny little bit of white on the edge. I'm just gonna go ahead and trim that off. And I think I can go ahead and adhere my picture down as well. So let's talk a little bit about mixed media if you do not like mixed media like this. If you would rather maybe put more pictures on your page, because I'm only using one little picture on this page. So it's super easy to adapt this to do that. You would just omit the mixed media. And if you've got more pictures, you could stick them right up here and you wouldn't even need to fill in all the white space. So yeah, this is very flexible. Of course, I love tucking my tags in behind things. So I probably will leave, oh, I should make a shaker out of this. That would be cute. Let's see. It would be cute to do a shaker out of this little slide mount frame thing. I think this is supposed to be the bottom for sure, this thicker side. And I've got all of these different embellishments, and I know that Taylor Swift uses both electric guitars and acoustic guitars. I could use either. I think I'll put acoustic. I hope it makes sense. I should probably ask my daughter which one makes more sense with this album, but whatever. Okay, we'll figure that out in a minute. So I've got some other things here. Another little frame. Oh, that looks really good right there. Tucked back. And since I do like using the bottom portion somewhere else, I'm just going to give it a little snip. And I can tuck this right there. And maybe I can put this. No. We'll see. We'll see where this ends up. Kind of looks nice there, but there's a lot of peach right now. Every day is an adventure. My happy place, because Taylor Swift and Dutch Bros, those are both her things. I wonder if I could just do a couple little tabs. That one really just blends in. You almost can't even see it. Maybe that could be used for something else. I would love to use this. Let me see how it looks underneath here. I'm just gonna cut this like this and just use part of it under there. Pretty tiny, a little bit sticking out, just to add a little bit of color there. I wonder if I could do something down here with my leftover pieces. I would really like to put Speak Now. Now my question is, do I put Speak Now? Do I put Dutch Love? Do I just put Slay because it says Speak Now Slay? Slay is kind of cool. Maybe I'll use that. Let's see. Or TV for Taylor's version. Okay guys, I had to connect with my daughter and see what makes sense for a title here. So she says, I can use TV for Taylor's version, but she said when I suggested the title Slay, she was like, yeah, no. So I think I'm gonna put Speak Now, which is the album title, on the little tiny letter tiles that I've often been making lately. using this little stamp set, this little alphabet stamp set. So I'm gonna put speak now and then TV for Taylor's version. And I think I'm gonna go off camera for a few minutes and I'm gonna get all of this adhered down where I have it, except for these, because I haven't really decided what I'm doing here, because I kind of don't like this. I don't know what's happening here. But I'm gonna get all the rest of this adhered down and I'm gonna get my little title stamped that says speak now, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have a lot adhered down. I did pop this guy right here and these letters up with foam tape because they were, you know, on top of this chipboard frame and they needed to be up so they weren't crooked. And of course I showed my daughter to see how she liked it so far. And what do you know? Her first comment was, I like it, but there's no purple. I told you guys, you know, I missed out on that part, that there's no purple for this. Anyways, I don't think I need this on here. And I am thinking I might use some of these stamps still. So I'm gonna leave those out so I don't forget about them. And then I didn't finish adhering these or this because I wanted to show you that I'm gonna tie a little bit of twine into there. And I don't know what color to use yet. I'm thinking I'm just going to use, maybe I'll use the blue and the yellow, because there's blue and yellow there. And I think I'm going to tie a tiny little bow. I cut off plenty so I don't have to try to fight the twine. So I'm gonna tie a tiny little, tiny bow, and then I'm gonna take the ends, I'm gonna make this real tiny. I'm gonna need to put a dot of glue in here so it doesn't come undone. And then I'm gonna take the ends and make it look like it's hanging from underneath of here. So let me put a little bit of glue on here so this doesn't come untied. Get it exactly where you need it. And then I'm gonna cut those off. And I think I'm gonna use a little bit of tacky glue to adhere this down to my layout, because tacky glue seems to dry pretty quickly. And it works really well when holding like fabric and fibers. So I'm just gonna put a little tacky glue there, make it look like it's coming out from underneath of here. Great. Okay, next I'm gonna move on to this guy because I realized I haven't colored it in yet. This is masked with paper when you get it, so that way you can tear off individual little pieces in here and color them whatever color you'd like. So I think I'm going to start with tearing off the entire like radio cover. And then I'm gonna take, I'm going to take my, I believe, speckled egg, saltwater taffy, and scattered straw. And I'm gonna make this be colored. So I want the whole entire radio to be the speckled egg color. So I'm gonna get my little brushes, and we also sell these in the store if you don't have these. I'm gonna get my little brushes. And this first color doesn't really matter how messy I make it because everything else is still masked off right now. So it's only coloring in the radio that I peeled away. Okay. And then it won't be till the next set that I peel off that I have to be a little more careful. So my entire radio is blue. And then I think next I'll peel away the plug and the outline of it and the antenna. I think I should make them yellow. So I'm gonna get a little tinier brush, and I'm gonna carefully do this so that I'm not overlapping any of the blue that I just colored. I'm just doing the plug and the antenna and the little outlet. And finally, I'm going to tear off this big one and these 3 little dials. And I'm gonna color those things all pink. And I'm gonna use the teeny tiny brush for that because I cannot overlap it onto the blue. Like, I have to be real careful so it doesn't overlap onto the blue. And then I'm gonna peel off around the speaker, and I'm gonna leave that the raw wood color because that is, I probably actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna get a little white paint marker and color it. And then in the middle of the dial, I'm gonna make that blue too, that middle piece of the dial. Actually, I'm gonna make it yellow. I'm just gonna get the teeny tiniest brush ever and make that center dot yellow. Okay, then I can get my white marker, my white little, not a marker, but gel pen. And then I'm gonna just go around this little teeny tiny thin line around this dial. Okay guys, and that is how that turned out. So you can alter that to be any color that you want, and I'm just gonna glue it down right there. And I'm gonna glue it down with Eileen's tacky glue because it seems to hold the wood that this is made out of really nicely. The back of this is still backed. Yours may or may not have this. I'm not sure if these are removed. If you ordered these, I'm not sure if the back is removed or not. So you may have paper on the back. Now I'm going to use the glue. Okay. And then for my little guitar, I like to adhere that with glossy accents because that makes it stick nice. And on these guitars, there's a glossy side and a matte side, and I'm making the glossy side down so the matte side is up. Oh, set that down a little crooked. That's okay. Okay, and then I kind of do want a little something down here. I think I might put a little bit of paper in it, maybe the yellow. Maybe just a little scrap of this yellow to back it. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just cut a little bit of this yellow. I want the solid yellow to show. And this is a little bigger than I need, so I'm gonna make a little bit hang off the bottom, and I'll just go in and trim this with my paper trimmer after I get it on there. And let's see what we've got after this is all done. I think it's looking pretty good. The last thing that I wanted to do was show you where I would put my journaling. So, oh, and I wanted to maybe stamp a couple more things. Yes, and I don't know what color to stamp them in. I might put my journaling either right up here, kind of going off the page. I could also overlap it down here, which would look nice. I could put it right about there. That would look nice, even maybe overlapping my picture a little. So there's a lot of options. Actually, I really like it right here and right here. Those are my two favorite spots. So that's where I would put journaling. And then I think I'm gonna put some of these little crisscross plus symbols around. My problem is I don't know what color, but I'm thinking maybe this speckled egg is a good color to bring, because I've brought in a little more of that blue. So I think that's the perfect amount of just a little bit of blue, a little tiny bit added in there. And with that, this layout will be done. I will post this, of course, on our social media and things. If you were inspired by this layout to make a layout similar to this using either these supplies or supplies from your stash or what have you, we would love to see it on our Not Just for Boys Kit Club community group page. I will link that in the description of this video as well. And don't forget, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, you might want to do that. I try to post about 8 process videos each month as I work my way through our kit each month. And even if you don't have our kit, I do an unboxing at the beginning of each month before the process videos. So you could pull like similar supplies from your own stash and still create similar layouts to the ones that I'm creating right now, but you know, with your own supplies. Or of course, if you got this kit then from the Not Just for Boys website, then of course you could recreate it with the exact same supplies that I'm using. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in a couple days with my 7th process video. Bye.